You almost have to like explain it to them of you're making a conscious decision once it gets hard to stop, because they don't even pick up on it sometimes. They're literally just like, I'm supposed to be successful. Why aren't you going down? Like, why aren't you submitting to my will? And they get that fight, and it's just so tough to make them mean.
You can.
I mean mean to the fact that you can dig down and find something.
Come back later on.
That meanness is hard to teach. That grit, I guess.
Man. I hate it when they freaking quit. It's like, dude, most talented people I had quit.
Yep.
And the nerds stay back and do good.
They do very well.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Because they want to learn.
Yeah. They don't rely on anything, it's literally just technique off the start, especially with the nerdy ones. There's no physical strength, there's no agility, there's no special, thing that they were born with. It was just all hard work.
Yeah.
Those are the people that stick with it because they had to lose a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing for kids too. It's like it's like going up, and I'm not saying this is everybody, it's just parents, some parents. It's like, okay, let's say you have a kid that, had a great season of wrestling or a great season of jiu-jitsu or whatever it might be, and just hardly ever lost, but then he loses and then he wants to quit. Well, don't be the parent that says, all right, don't give in to that. It's like, dude, your whole life you're going to get knocked down, right? Every time. You have to learn that at a young age.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to stop. I'm not going to quit because I lost,
Yeah.
Or that I got beat up, or I have to file bankruptcy, or any of this stuff. You can't give up, So that's the main thing that I think you can get from, even if you don't take it as a career, you take it as just a learning experience. It doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu, it doesn't have to be wrestling, but any sport that you lose at, and you can't blame it on anybody else, right? Like baseball, you can be like, oh, Jimmy didn't hit a home run on that, but his bases were loaded. Like, okay, well, we're not going to blame it on Jimmy because you were on base if you didn't hit a home run, right?
Yeah.
But they're not going to look at it like that.
Right.
Like when it's wrestling or jiu-jitsu or boxing or anything, it's you and the other guy. And then when you fail, it's on you. I can't look at you and go, God, Caleb should have helped me with that takedown. No, it's like, no, I mean, I could do that, I guess. But
Yeah.
It's really hard to blame it on other people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's personal. It shows who you are very, very quickly after you take that loss. I was telling you about my son and, trying to teach him through that. And, you get so much better, though. I mean, when you come back out on the mat, like that first loss sucks in a tournament. And, and jiu-jitsu, sometimes you don't get to redeem that sometimes, and you just tie for third, so it kind of sucks. But in wrestling, it's so nice because you get a chance to come back and redeem yourself and realize, no, you're not weak, you're not untechnical, you lost, you made some mistakes, it happens, and you're able to regain that confidence really quickly. That's what I really like about the consolation bracket. And it works, because the kid went out and won his next two matches. It's like you get angry and you take it out on the next guy.
Yeah, and you don't get that chance to, like, even if they wanted to say stop. Like, I wanted to do this a couple of years ago, because he competed and he fought this kid that had been winning a lot, but he only lost by an advantage, and like the referee screwed up a little bit, but whatever. It was just an accident. But anyway, he's like, oh, I'm not going to do the open weight. Well, we had this plan, a month prior, he's going to do division and open weight, But when he lost, he was like, no, I don't want to do open weight. The sport sucks. And it's like, no, you can do it, And it's the same thing, and I've told Bryce this, I love Bryce, but he can be an emotional roller coaster. And I hope you're watching, Bryce, because I am very proud of Bryce, because he got really good really fast. But it's the same thing. It's kind of going off topic, but when they don't want to show up for the podium, I'm like, no, you're going. Sorry for the language, but I'm like, no. I don't care if you don't want to show up at the podium. That guy earned it. go show some respect.
Yep.
You know, you can cry and get pissed off and punch the trash can later if you want, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But don't not show up to the podium. That's just disrespectful,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta show up. Get what you earned, and you go home and you learn.
You can throw it in the trash.
Yep.
I mean, I've thrown many of my medals in the trash. I'm sure you've done the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going down the freeway. I'm gonna admit to littering right now, but
Yeah, oh yeah. I've done some freeway medals. Oh yeah, those second places don't sit well on the ride home.
Dude. You ever been the only guy that lost in the van?
Oh yeah.
I've been the only guy
yeah.
that lost in the van.
Yeah, that's the worst. Yeah, I remember that time I got pinned in the finals at sections. I remember losing, and my teammate did he win? I don't. Either way, they had better matches than I did at the end, and I don't know if they won or lost, but they all went out to dinner after. And I remember like sitting outside, like thinking about going in and being like, no, I want to be depressed by myself. Like, oh, that hurts.
Like,
man.
I'll be quiet for like 2 weeks. I'll talk to people and stuff, but I'll be quiet. I won't have like a good time for like 2 weeks after like a loss, especially if I thought I could have done better.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you talk to me for the first 2 hours though, oh, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna not even answer you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, there's
I just
that
gotta have
rage.
my moment. You know. You ever had a coach that? I'm so happy that Manny's coming back, and you'll see why that he agitates me, because he's really good at jiu-jitsu, one. Two, he just knows how to get under my skin during a match. Like, he knows. I don't know if you had anybody like that before, but he'll like, I'll be like, you know, trying to pass the guy's guard, and like, he'll say my name like repeatedly, like Tanner, 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 and then like slap the fence, Tanner. I'm like, what? Like, I don't say that because I'll get penalized. But I look over like, what? He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh my god.
No, I've never had that.
I was like, this guy just beat you last week. Give me a break. What do you do? What am I doing? But it makes me go harder.
No.
It's just like, oh, you son of
Yeah, no, I've never had that. I think wrestling's a little, I don't know, I wouldn't say this negatively, but like a little more like intense, especially high school wrestling,
totally
when like,
is. Yeah.
it's like, this is all on the line, you know, especially championship season and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I had coaches just yell some random stuff. Like, I didn't get along with my college coaches, like, because they didn't understand my wrestling, and you know, it's okay. Like, but I was just a little weird of a wrestler, and so it was hard for me to connect with them. But I had a great connection with my dad when in the corner, and I don't know if you've had a coach like this, but it was like everything was white around me. I would like get into a zone where everything was blacked out. I couldn't hear a word but my dad. Like, I could just hear him like whispering in my ear as I'm wrestling, and like I was so focused. Like, even if someone were to like scream my name and like try to get my attention, it was like I was so locked in at that point, and I had such good communication with my dad that was like he got to see, you know, little things that I could pick up on. Like, he's stepping right, and then it was like, oh, okay, I'm going to go right, and I'm going to look for that leg.
sick.
So that was like one of the coolest things that we had as far as a coach-son relationship.
Yeah.
But it was really fun, just because like we were doing it together, you know. It was like we were locked in together.
Yeah, that's awesome. I found for me, like, getting pissed off beforehand, like legitimately pissed off, not like faking it. Like, I can't fake getting pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately have to get mad. I remember I was fighting this guy, like, his name's Rafael. He's got a long last name. Anyway, I fought this guy like a lot of times, and I trained with him in Brazil at Leandro's. Super nice guy. We always get along, and it wasn't even his fault. Like, it was about, like, I had just competed. I fought in El Paso with Fisher. Then I flew immediately to San Francisco and fought the Open there. And then the Mendez brothers were coaching. This was when Atos and AOJ were still on a team. And then I hear the Mendez brothers, because I still don't think that they know I speak Portuguese, so hopefully they watch this because they're going to laugh. But they were like, oh, Tanner doesn't go very hard, like, off the start, so don't worry about it. Right, that's what he, like, said to Rafael, right? I just flipped a effing switch. I was like, for whatever reason, that pissed me off enough to beat him like 14-0.
That's awesome.
Right off the beginning, I was like, dude, I just have to get that. That's why I like Manny, because he manages to piss me off.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't know if this is some kind of weird I don't know, psychology thing that people do, but I haven't heard anyone else do it. But I had a psychology with myself that before a match, I would look at my opponent and I would look at all the ways that he was better than me. Like I would think, oh, that guy's, he's got big muscle. He's stronger than me. He's better than me. His shoes are really cool. He's gonna beat me. I'm probably gonna lose. That guy's probably gonna beat me. And he could look like a stick. Like this guy could look like a stick in gym shorts and Converse. And I'll look at that guy and go, he could beat me.
Yeah.
Like that guy could beat me.
Yeah.
But I used it so healthily where it was like, I always tell my wrestlers I had this view of if I was stepping out on that mat, I envisioned him having a knife and he was going to stab me. And if I didn't pin him as quickly and as strongly and roughly as possible, he was going to stab me with that knife. And so I had to get him because he could beat me. I told myself he could beat me at the beginning. So I had to get him as soon as I could because he was going to beat me. Yeah. So I had that mentality, and I haven't heard that from other people because they always want to, exude confidence and strength. And it's hard. And like you said, anger, you used anger, and I used that like almost defeatism to help me. But it was what I needed to get myself motivated and keep me not being nervous because I already had nothing to lose, right? I already lost. So I was like, let's go. I gotta go get this guy.
I've used that a lot with the kids, like you're teaching the kids program. I'm like, listen, every kid's gonna be lazy at some point, right? So you're teaching them framing or recovering guard or whatever. And they're just being lazy because it's hard or whatever. And I'm like, okay. I circle everybody up and pretend that this guy, if he hits side control, there's a spike coming out of his chest. If he hits side control, you're going to die. Like, legitimately think that you will die. And everybody, except a couple kids are like, it's fake, but like the other kids were like, oh crap, that would really make me push hard. Yeah, and it would be a slow death too.
Yeah.
And I explained every gory stuff. I was like, oh yeah, these kids are gonna get it.
You're gonna learn. Yeah. It's gonna hurt. Because it does. I mean, I was telling my son this after that tournament where he lost. I was telling him, I go, buddy, I hate losing. I hate losing more than anything in the world. Almost more than anything. Like, I hate losing. That's my number one thing. Like, I remember kids who beat me at cornhole 5 years ago for $100 gift card that I wanted to win. I remember losing to checkers as a kid to my mom. I remember the kid pinning me at section finals, and that was burned in my memory. And that was 1,000 deaths that I relive every day, and I had to relive that whole summer from getting pinned by that kid because I had to wait until that whole next year to get my revenge, and I did, but I went full psycho mode because that kid pinned me, and that motivated me to push myself to a huge level. But man, even to this day, even when I'm screwing around in practice and I end up getting tapped, I still am pissed. Like, I internalize things very well and I don't show it, but it's like, I don't like getting beat. I don't like getting submitted. It's not fun. You shouldn't have that attitude ever. But you can use it as such a superpower. I mean, it should drive you. It shouldn't, diminish your skill.
Yeah, and the way it can diminish it is you don't take chances.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, oh, I don't want to. So I just went with Garo. I just went with Matthew. I don't want to go with Chase because he's fresh and I'm tired and I might lose. You can't use it like that.
Right. Well, even in wrestling, I was never good at shooting takedowns, just because I was built funky. Like, I have short legs and a long torso, so I couldn't get under guys.
Yeah.
And, and I was slower and flexible and not explosive. So I had things against me, but I would never do it in competition because I was scared. But if I would have developed a proper technique with that shot, I could have done a lot better in my wrestling, and taking it even farther, because I really didn't develop a proper shot until after I was done competing in college and all that.
Really?
So I was very much defensive, upper body, like stepping shots. I would never go to my knee. It was actually Pat Smith. He was the first 4-time NCAA champion. Came to this property, came to my parents' house, and stayed in my bed and did a clinic. And that was when he broke it down so beautifully that it was like it finally clicked. But
That's awesome.
because the hard part about the shot is you're taught wrong for such a long time, because you can get away with it doing it wrong, where you drop your back knee, where even people today will show this, and you can drop your back knee. It's called a Russian step, where you kind of go more to the outside as you drop your back knee. But you're supposed to push your front knee forward, right? So I would always drop my back knee, and that was my bad habit for my shot. And that would end up in crunched positions, cradles, front headlocks, and I would mostly lose those positions. So I was so scared to do that. But he taught me proper technique, how to roll over my toe and put my knee underneath my chest and wrestle in a more
It's kind of a funky movement if you really think about it.
It is. The proper shot is
because we're taught
weird.
like lunges in PE. We're taught lunges like, anywhere else. When we lunge when we pick up something, we don't do a shot when we pick up something.
Right.
So it's a weird, when we teach the kids that, it's like so awkward for them. Like I have to step with that foot and drop my knee and stay on my toes.
Yeah.
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 And it makes you sore if you've never done it before.
Well,
it's
brutal on your
kids.
knees, even if you have. I mean, that's why guys wear knee pads. I mean, those college practices, when it's like at the end of practice, we used to do these 100 rep go-to moves, right? So you do your go-to takedown for 100 times at the end of practices. You just got done wrestling and lifting, and you're dead, but you're banging that knee on every shot. So I made sure that my go-to move was one where I didn't hit my knee, because it was like, man, that was.
Yeah, you still have pretty good knees.
Oh yeah, I think not shooting on my knees definitely helped that, and obviously my flexibility helps that a lot too.
Even Chase, the way you guys sit out with your toes out on your butt, with your heels to your butt, I don't know how you guys do it.
Yeah, been wrenched on a lot.
Even going back to the tournaments a little bit, I think it's a good idea, especially after we're getting good at it and we've got like a flow to it, is just like finally paying them, or even doing like a promotion where it's only like 8 people fighting.
Right. Or an invite for the main event or something like that. Get these guys paid.
Yeah, and like you said, you could get a houseboat, especially during the summers. We go to the lakes and stuff, do barbecues.
Yep. Fly fishing, greatest fly fishing in the world, greatest lakes. I mean, Redding's so awesome.
Oh, even floating down the river is just a blast.
Yeah.
You have a beer with friends, you float for 4 hours.
Hunting's
fun.
Mobbing the FJ.
Yo, Leandro was gonna come out here and do a seminar. I think I still have the messages on my phone. He's like, "Hey, you think while I'm out there I could ride a horse?" I'm like, "My next door neighbor has a horse. I'm gonna ride a horse. You can ride a horse.
You can jump on it.
You can jump on one of these cows that we have. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do whatever the hell you want." So.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's things to do up here. It just has to fit,
Yeah. How much did he influence your current style?
So much.
Really?
Oh my god.
Like everything?
I was like, so I went to Gabrina's first, and that helped a lot because I didn't even know what De La Riva was, and I knew of it, I just didn't know anything from it. So I got like a more advanced game way later on in my career, and then I was all basic stuff, which worked for me. I won a lot of stuff, but it was a grind. It wasn't very fluid. And then I went to Gabrina's. He helped a lot. His program helped a lot. All of his guys were extremely helpful because I was there all the time. And then when I met Leandro at the Kayotera camp, and I was rolling with a purple belt at the time. I was a black belt, and he asked me in Portuguese, he's like, "What are you doing?" And like I didn't even know him very well, It was like 3 days into the camp. I'm like, "I'm rolling. Like I'm in the middle of the round with the guy." He's like, "Why are you rolling with that guy?" I'm like, because he asked me to roll. And I was like, "Well, that guy sucks." And the guy didn't understand Portuguese. He's like, "You're getting ready for a tournament. Like you should be rolling with black belts only."
Right.
So I was like, "Yeah, okay, well then." And again, I wasn't under him or anything. I was just like, "Well, fuck, he's world champion, so I should probably listen to him." So then I started only training with the black belts, or like the top brown belts that were like killing it, And then, then when I went to his school in Cecilio Costas in Sao Paulo, that was probably the best time because, you know, we would only do 8 to 10 minute rounds. You only train once a day. Like, he didn't believe in training twice a day. You know, he just believed in one really hard, intense training session.
And how
Maybe
long was
lifting
that?
weights. That was like, I went there 4 times, I think, with him.
But how long were the sessions usually?
Oh, so it was 6 8s every time, or it would be 6 10s every time.
And would you do like drills, warm up technique, anything?
Yes, it was whenever you wanted to, and you could ask questions and stuff to like the people around you, but it was more just like free drilling every day, you know. But you were trying to, like, if you had a question though, you could ask people, you know, and you could get the answer. But yeah, it was drilling for probably 20 minutes, and then it was just straight into training. And then, like, I would try to take a break because I would roll with, like, you know, the Meow Brothers or Heba or all these freaking savages or him, and I would roll, and I'm like, I don't want to break because I feel like I'm going to be useless. He's like, don't take a break. Don't do it. And I couldn't take a break with a blue belt. I had to take a break my break was the 2-minute rest period between round, and then you would go with another butt. You had no other choice. I could have told him to, you know, but I would see him yell or chew somebody out on the side because he would get his partners lined out. Like, okay, you're my first, you're my second, you're my third, I'm going to go back to you my fourth. You know, he would have it all laid out for those 6 rounds. But if he knew, a lot of guys would, like, sit out. So, like, oh, I was Leandro's number 2. I'm going to sit out the first one so I'm fresh to go with Leandro. Like, he would despise that.
Yeah.
Oh, God, he would freak out. Like, he would start yelling at the guy, beating up the other guy, yelling at the guy on the wall. Like, oh my God, bro. So I didn't want that treatment. So I was like, okay, well, he's trying to help me. I'm going to listen. Regardless how bad it sucks, I'm just going to listen. So that was probably the most favorite time I had training.
And that was the year you lived in Brazil?
No, I lived in Brazil.
Just
young.
visiting?
Young. Yeah, that was just visiting with him because I met him here and then I went back with him.
Okay.
Yeah. But he helped it a lot.
Yeah. And who was all training with him at that time? Was it just him and his students, or was there other guys around
There
you?
was Meows. There was Wellington. There was Igor Schneider. There was Heba was there. Lucas Pinheiro, which is in whose division? That's Mario's division, light feather.
Okay.
Yeah, he was good. And then there was visitors all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Like AJ was there quite a bit.
That's so much fun with those gyms where they, you know, get so much influence from all over.
Hulk was there.
Oh, wow.
Was there for
that's a loaded cast, man.
And even before, I was with Heba, Lucas Pinheiro, Everett Santos. Who else came out of that school? Jacare. You know, all those guys were at the same school.
That's
you know,
legit.
it was nuts. Yeah, you look back and we were all just blue belts trying to figure things out.
Partners are such a huge portion of success. I mean, if you don't have partners, it's really hard to get those reflexes. I mean, you can do it and it's been done, but I think those reflexes that you have to build with better guys and strengths that you have to work on that unmatched versus, you know, going against weak partners. Even black belts that are weak will hurt you, you know,
Totally.
if you are only training with,
if they're not doing the right reactions or something, you know, it's like, that's why you were asking me that the other day. You don't want to do no gi, like spice it up. I'm like, I still love the gi a lot. It's just like, you know, and my dad, but probably back to that story, like this is the worst we butt heads because I was trying to solve the same problem using the same variables, right? So I was like, okay, I have Matthew to train with. He doesn't like to train that much. This is back when I was training a lot. Sam hated to train, hated to drill, hated to work out. And those are the 2 best guys that I had to train with, right? Everybody else was like, I was there to teach. So you're just like destroying everybody.
Right.
And yeah, you can put yourself in the middle, Shark Tank yourself, all this stuff, you know. But like when I went down to Atos and trained, I saw Andre getting ready for his Cyborg match at ADCC. It was me, JT Torres, Hinger, and one other guy. Mike Perez. and we were all rotating in on him, right? And he was getting tapped out, you know. I was like, that is what you need.
Mhm.
You shouldn't be winning every round, you
Right.
know. Like he like guillotined him twice. JT Torres was all over him. Keenan was all over him, you know. And I was like, well, why are like he's getting tapped out for all of his students? Yet, but I was talking to them because I wasn't there for their whole camp.
Mhm.
He's like, yeah, but at the end of this, we're not gonna be able to touch him, you know, because we're like getting the big break. He's
Yeah.
not, and he's gonna get used to that.
Mm.
And here in a month, we're not gonna be able to even touch him. Like, okay, that's what you need.
Yeah.
You know. So, but when you have like blues and purples that don't take it seriously, like they don't want to do it for a living,
Right.
it's like, nah,
Yeah,
hard
it's
to do
tough.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I was blessed with good partners, and being smaller helped me a lot because all my partners were bigger, so I had to
Yeah.
figure out how to wrestle around people rather than through them. But that really developed me because I had one partner who was really fast and quick and got to my ankles before I could blink. I had one partner that was really good with the upper body and legs and just real strong. So I had to learn how to wrestle, a couple different styles, and that
Yeah.
really helped, in the long run for me. But
It
it's
seems like that
so
year
important.
was just that year of your guys' year was pretty nuts
Yeah.
for wrestling.
Yeah.
Because Mikey wasn't there yet, right?
No, Mikey was.
But he was already graduated, right? He was just assisting, or
No. He was a part of that run.
oh, he was.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
a
okay.
grade older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mikey was a grade older than me, and so he was my main partner. He was the quick one, and then Jason Post was a grade older as well, and Ira Wynn was a grade older, and so those three placed, and then I was a junior and placed, and then we took 8th as a
So
team.
then Chase came way
And then
later.
Chase was in 8th grade during that time. So Chase came the
Ah,
next year when I placed as a senior,
Okay.
and so Chase and I had 1 year together.
Okay.
Yeah, but even still, like that ripple effect of that first guy. So that the All-American I was telling you about earlier, he placed when I was in 8th grade, right? So he was the first foothill placer to place at state, and my dad's first year coaching, and he coached him to an 8th place. In Jake Varner's weight, Jake Varner went on to win an Olympic gold medal for the USA in freestyle wrestling. Absolute stud, Iowa State wrestler for Kale. But anyway, so that gave us hope. It was like, oh, someone broke through. We finally broke through this. We can do this. And then that trickle effect, because when we placed, all of a sudden, Travis, who was a grade above Chase, but Travis, Brett, and Chase, those three ended up placing, and those were, they just kind of reaped the fruits of our labor and that pioneer of, this is how you do it. And we kind of created a formula of, this is how you have to run, you have to lift, you have to wrestle, you have to have technique, and you have to wrestle year round. I mean, you have to wrestle in the spring, you have to wrestle camps, you have to wrestle preseason, get your body ready.
Yeah.
So we created this, pretty good formula, and it's, the guys who have bought in and have done all the steps, usually end up placing. So we're looking to expand that, and we want to, obviously grow our team and try to get, a little more competitive as a big team. But yeah, that's where we're headed, and we're really excited for the future because, now that I'm back, we have, hopefully we get some more alumni coming back. Carlos coming in is so fun to, have him come back and help. But we're growing our youth program. We're growing our high school team, and then, we're going to be doing some wrestling classes out of the new gym. So I really think we're going to be able to kind of start a renaissance of, grappling, combat sports, all over in Shasta County, and be able to make a mark. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, the next 5 years should be very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully in a good way. What's the best school around here, like grade school wise, to get a wrestler from? Foothill?
It's only club, right? So,
Oh, that's right.
So K through 8th is only club, right? So there's not a lot of grade school per se that you would just say, oh, that's the
Okay.
feeder, So you have to develop them through the clubs, and our Eastside club is really coming on. We had a runner up at the TOC championship this year. That was Cam, and then he took first at the I forget what the state tournament was called, but took first at state the week after. So he's one of our pioneers of that East Side club, and he's going to be he's going to be a mess to reckon with when he gets into high school. But we're trying to build that pipeline, and it's pretty cool though, like those dual threat guys that we've been able to coach together, because they're able to see things and understand things so much quicker and better. Like a Carlos, like Cam, we've both been able to teach them. And then, I think Chase had more to do with Mario and Marcos's wrestling, but I think I added a little bit to him as well.
Especially Mario's.
Right. So it's so
Marcos
fun.
is
Those dual threat guys, when they can really get both down, it's like those guys are scary because they can choke you out and then they can take you down anytime they want. So I think we're going to be able to develop some of those guys that are, Carlos is talking MMA, that are just right from the start for MMA. We have Cole Dixon. He's going to be fighting at the A1 Combat coming up here in May 27th, I believe, for Uriah Faber's card. So, yeah, we got some big things coming, and it's super exciting because going back to our earlier conversation, I feel like we have two great minds of technique. Where we're not brutes. You're a brute now, but you didn't start that way.
Yeah.
When you learned, you're a lighter guy, and we use that finesse, and we're able to solve puzzles in multiple different ways. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, teaching does help with that too, solving problems and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you just really, sometimes like you've asked me questions too. I'm like, I don't know. I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
I have no idea. So.
Yeah. No, I always get frustrated with myself when I can't do the answer, and then like sometimes I'll have to like put myself in the position and like kind of feel that out because it's like, what would I do here?
Yeah.
Because there's some funky positions.
Yeah.
Especially like you said with all the leg lock game. I mean, there's just
some of those positions, like how the hell. But again, like Worm was like that when Keenan first started doing it in competition. It was like everybody thought there's no way out. There's always a way out. It's just like it doesn't feel like it at the time. But there's always a way out.
Right.
But some of those leg lock things feel like that. It's like, God, it feels like I just
there's
die
no
old here.
If I turn this way, I'm broke. If I turn that way, I'm broke.
There's no way.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for the next ADCC and the development from the leg locks, because I think it's gonna, that pendulum swing, it's gonna force guys into body lock passing and being able to do the Rotolo style, outside step on the calf kind of game.
Even like the Gabriel Moraes, like how he passed Mikey's,
where
he was so far back the whole time. He was just doing like normal Toriando passing, right? But he was so far back the whole time because he's so short.
And getting to that north-south stack on the knees position is so brutal on energy. I mean, Rotolos have just melted guys with that.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see a lot more movement and a lot more fun scrambles coming up here. Because guys are going to get better at exiting leg locks. Guys are going to be better at countering leg locks. And then there's going to be guys that just want to avoid it altogether, and that's going to be a fun little game.
Yeah. There's the. What do you think about that rule in the turtle? So they get a takedown, they turtle ADCC, and like a lot of guys were letting them up because they didn't want them to pull.
Yeah.
And then have to deal with the energy of having to pass this guy's guard to score anything.
Right. Right. And I don't like that rule. I think at least maybe you add in like a hook. One hook is a takedown.
Yeah.
Maybe you can kind of, but one hook's fairly easy to get in. So I don't know how you solve that. I mean,
but Nogi's so slippery too.
Yeah.
Like I know there's you can always get better at it, but like when you. Like a lot of guys just gave up maybe trying to take the back and just let them stand up because they didn't want to deal with that kind of point system.
Right.
So it was I just thought it was lame because I was like, man, there's a few positions like I would love to see that guy try to attack the back, but he literally just stood up and no, you're standing back up. I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah. Well, and guys are good at, pulling into those leg locks from that turtle position and inverting, and even Kimura traps, there's some traps in there. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I do want to see, more complete takedowns. I mean, I feel like if that was a takedown, you'd see more scramble. Maybe hold them in that turtle position for 3 seconds could be a takedown. I think that's what we're gonna do with our takedown tournament. But yeah, but I think for ADCC, it's a game. You got to play it, and it's kind of the rule set. But I really like attacking turtle. I mean, that's one of my favorite positions to attack.
Totally. I like following it.
Yeah. And even when guys pull, it's like sometimes it's an advantage because you're able to, go right to side control or get a good body lock off it.
Exactly.
Or Kimura. I mean, Kimuras happen a lot. Chokes happen a lot out of that position. Back takes. So I hope it gets better. I hope people just get better at taking the back there and submitting from there. Because, the let-up's kind of like anticlimactic.
Speaking of rule sets and stuff like that too, Abu Dhabi, like the UAE stuff, they have one of the coolest rule sets because it's the same, like double guard pull. It's a faster penalty. So it's the same as IBJJF. But as far as they cater to if you submit in the finals, they give you an extra $2,000. All of this stuff.
Yeah.
They let black belts compete for free, and you win. Even if you don't win by submission in the final, you still get paid money. Which I would like to do eventually because it's just all around is one, we know how hard the sport can be, right? That's why I feel bad for wrestlers because a lot of them don't make freaking anything close, But jiu-jitsu, it's we know how hard it is to get good. And then let's say that by chance, I win worlds at black belt this year. I get $7,000. Dude, it's guys, that's it's not even my rent. It's you can't even.
Yeah, and for you being a gym owner,
right. So it's okay, right? Yeah, but even the travel. That's what half the trip, to LA, it's
and you're giving up your classes during that time, and all that,
right? So it's okay, well, this is just a joke, A lot of people at IBJJF is doing the math, competing at IBJJF, are doing the math and realizing how much they're making. So I just want to be especially after we get our first 3 or 4 out of the way of giving back.
Yeah.
Obviously we want to save money to start bigger things,
right.
And have them bigger venues and stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, it's they should win something. Not a 10-cent medal.
Right. Right.
It's Marcos has been training for 10 years. He wins open weight and his division. No points scored on him. He gets 2 20-cent medals.
Yeah.
It's insulting.
Yeah, and there's no one better than the kid. I mean,
you
can't find a kid that's going to be better than him.
Yeah, it's so insulting. It's wrestling. It's even worse. It's bro, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think now it's getting a little better. I think with the NIL, it's actually helped a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on how that's working, but I think kids are able to make a little bit more.
They are.
But yeah, it's still pennies, and it's still them doing the work. It's still them going out and getting sponsorships or getting deals, and it's that's a pain. I mean, that's why I didn't like MMA. I hated the politics of it, where it's just I gotta go sell these tickets, I gotta go kiss this guy's butt, this guy, and then I gotta make sure I fight the right guy, and then I gotta have a perfect record to even start making decent money. It's just what am I doing?
Even then, it's not decent.
Yeah.
It's when Fluffy beat Adolfo, right? Tapped him out. It's the second time in UFC history it happened, to an ADCC vet, right?
Yeah.
And then, I was talking to Elliot. Elliot loves his job, so don't take this the wrong way, but Elliot loves to be there, and it's just a cool. It's just a cool thing to do. He just loves doing it. But Elliot was I think I got $900 to $1,000, for that entire training camp for him to do that.
Right.
And it's he had to pay instructors to cover his classes at his gym, right? He had to, gas getting to the MMA school, right? Hotel, travel to all those events. It's dude, it's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's hopefully we can drum up some money. Hopefully, Mo's talking about prizes for ADCC Opens. I think that's a step in the right direction. Hopefully IBJJF starts paying, or something, or someone comes along and does it right. And I think the UFC partnership's going to help, because that's where a lot of these guys graduate to. But I think pure grappling has a place as a profession as well as wrestling. Where I think if we can get guys coming and growing in the right patterns at an early age, you can develop that and make these guys to where they're going to be earning money because they're a brand and they're developed in such a way that they're brought along correctly. And that's my hope for the club, to able to develop these kids and help them grow into something bigger. And like you said, we want to create something cool that we can make a living off of, but we want to create something that we can help people spread what we're doing. We want people to spread jiu-jitsu and wrestling and grow as professionals in that, because that's our passion. We love being professionals at what we do, and getting paid to do what we love, and we want our kids to get paid when they deserve it. And we have an opportunity here to do that a little bit. We're obviously going to be a small scale, but we have a cool opportunity to do that with our gym and our promotion. But hopefully we can drum up some sponsorships and
later down the line I want to do this guy's really good, this guy's really good, this is going to be entertaining, whether they're both amateur, they're both working their butts off. We're not going to get this guy drinking beer in the stands before his match and then running out there and getting head kicked in 5 seconds. Sure, it's entertaining for a bunch of freaking hillbillies, but I'm not I'm from Cottonwood. I'm allowed to say that. But it's dude, it's what are we watching? It's ugh.
Yeah. No. And I think there could be a cool. I think
that's later, after we're doing the tournaments and stuff.
But we have an opportunity to run a little fight promotion and run something really cool that we can get guys graduating, and that's, again, we want to be a jump off platform for people to go make their career at ADCC, at UFC, at
go other places,
all over. But I think that's a great idea. We want to do it legit, do some. Pay some big bucks, if we can.
I think it'll work out too, because you've been there, I've been there. You work your butt off, and you come up with nothing sometimes, even when you win. And it's besides the satisfaction of winning, obviously. Yeah. But it's
well, that's what drove us.
But you still got to pay your bills, bro.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why it was. And I look back on it fondly because it was, so pure. It's that is fun that it can be so pure as an amateur. I mean, as an amateur, yes, it should be pure. It should be fun, 18 and younger. But once you get older, it's a profession.
Yeah, it's I mean, Jordan Burroughs is obviously doing an amazing job, but he's he's top 1%. So it's there's people out there that should be able to go out and travel and compete and be able to make money at it, not just, not for it just to be a hobby,
For sure.
It could be an extra income, even if it's not very much. It's just still, you might pay for half your trip. Still, it's better than nothing.
Right.
Because it's especially nowadays, everything's just getting more expensive. So it's just, you've got to give people the incentive of going and competing.
Yeah.
Dubai, I love it because they pay even blue belts when they win, so
that's cool.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's different kind of money though, that's not Cottonwood and Anderson Reading money. That's that's oil money.
Unless we struck oil there.
Even if we struck golds and different Castle Crags, we still wouldn't have that kind of money.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for hanging out.
That was fun, dude.
Yeah. It's a good time.